What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady, and the Chef, joined by my co-host today.
Deeper 21. What's up?
Well, Diva Locks is still under the weather, but she's finding strength to join us, and that's the same strength that I need the Knicks to come through tonight to pull off the win against Chicago. So the Knicks are coming off of a nice win against the Minnesota Timberwolves, beat the number one team in the West. So that was a nice win for them. And now they're going to be playing Chicago, who just came from playing a back to back against Philly. Um, Chicago beat Philly the first game, and that was because Embiid was out. And then yesterday, they actually lost. Now, they were getting slaughtered most of that game, but they actually didn't lose by much. They lost 110-97. So they
Yeah.
actually crawled back into that game. So that lets you know right there that the Knicks can't settle and just sleep on these guys, considering also Chicago has a couple of guys that are injured. So this is the first meeting between both teams this year. Last season, New York beat Chicago 2-1. Chicago's currently sitting at 15-20. Um, Both Zach Levine and Nikola Vukovic are out with injuries. Kobe White, I'm not sure about. I know he tweaked his ankle against the Philly game, but I don't know if he's going to be playing today. If he is, he's supposed to be starting. So I'm not sure what's the deal with him if he's going to be playing, but he's supposed to be playing starting in the lineup. So I have to check that. He was pretty much listed as like last minute decision before the game.
And same thing
Um,
with Patrick Williams, I think.
Yes, Patrick Williams as well. He was supposed to be out. So right now the Bulls are pretty much leaning on DeMar DeRozan and Andre Drummond to carry the team. Both have been stepping up to the plate to do what they need to do to get the Bulls their necessary wins that they've been looking to have and get. But they still are not, you know, they're not a horrible team, but they've been struggling to get wins this season. And this is one of the reasons why the Bulls are looking to like rebuild and just get start all over, get the right pieces in place because it hasn't been working out this season for them. Um, Now, as far as Andre Drummond, he's leading the league in rebounds per game. He's averaging 18.7 rebounds per game. He's on track to pass Dennis Rodman for a season record, which was Dennis Rodman had it back in '95. But he's at 30% for rebounding per game. And that's something that the Knicks could use, a great rebounder. I know this season he's making 3.3 million. But the only thing with him, like Mitch, his free throws aren't good. So the Knicks, if they're smart, they'll get him in foul trouble, send him to the line. He's not good at hitting his free throws. Um, but yeah, I think the Knicks have to watch out for guys like Caruso. You got to watch out for DeRozan, and you got to watch out for Drummond and put a body on him. I think it's important that tonight Isaiah Hartenstein, brings that same energy like he did against Rudy Gobert and does the same thing with Andre Drummond, which is very much possible. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's game. Any thoughts for you on tonight's game against Chicago?
I'm like you. I'm just looking forward to the matchup. You know, you got Dante against, Alex, Caruso. His name has been thrown out. It seems like every player's name's been thrown out in trade. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. And the point guard, Brunson against, Kobe,
Right.
Kobe White. And just overall, even Jamar against some OG. That'll be a nice matchup to watch and to see how it plays out. And it's for the most part, the Knicks have to take care of business. They can't slack and take this game lightly.
Hmm.
Games are pretty much won. Whoever executes their offense the best and defend. So you got those two things you definitely have to put on lock. But otherwise, it should be like a nice game. Like you said, they crawled back yesterday.
Yeah,
And that's a testament just to, what they're able to do. And like, they could just take that lead and, next, the game is won. It could be by deciding 1 point.
exactly. Yeah, I think that this is one of those games that the Knicks they don't want to get too comfortable. Because I
Yeah.
hate when I'm watching games and then the Knicks, the first quarter, sometimes the Knicks will do well and outscore teams in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, it's kind of close leading up to halftime. Then the third, depending on how the Knicks come out with their energy, sometimes it's a great third quarter. And then other times the game is still close. So sometimes the Knicks have games where the score is pretty steady throughout the game. And then other times, because I think the Knicks still have to figure out how to be able to, again, get a lead and maintain the lead and be able to finish teams off by 20, 25 points in a game and finish teams off, and not allow them to crawl back or make it a close game. But yeah, I don't know. I think that, Chicago's a team that the Knicks, we all know that they should be beating them. This should be definitely, this was when we had our picks at the top of the week when we were talking about this week's games. This was definitely one of the games that I said I would like to see the Knicks take the win. And because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm gonna be a little disappointed if the Knicks don't take this win just because this is a team that they should be beating.
The whole fan base would be, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
agreed. Salute Wonder Woman.
Salute Wonder Woman. Yeah, the whole fan base would be up in an uproar. Salute Eddie.
Salute Eddie. Salute Ajay. Thank you for joining us.
Salute AJ. Thank you.
iHeart must avoid early foul troubles. Yes. Yeah, I Isaiah Hartenstein has to learn how not to foul so soon. And the last thing he needs to do is a game like tonight and get in foul trouble against Andre Drummond, who's gonna
Yeah.
kill the Knicks because now you're gonna have to force Josh Hart and Randall to try to cover down low because you're gonna be on the bench.
Well, you got pressures too, mate.
You're right,
You know,
he can put a body on him. I forgot that he's
yeah,
here.
yeah, they got
Yeah,
pressures. So, but iHeart is needed on the floor. You know,
yeah,
he's like a Mitch with the other tangibles that he does. His passing, blocking, rebounds. So, he's gonna definitely be needed on the floor.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I think it's key that instead of him getting in foul trouble, he needs to get Andre Drummond in foul trouble. Because he's not a good free throw shooter, whereas Isaiah Hartenstein is a good free throw shooter.
Yeah.
So he needs to make sure that he gets him in foul trouble. And they should also try to capitalize on that with Caruso. When he's going to the lane, maybe, Jalen Brunson's great at sacrificing his body. But if I want to see the Knicks be able to figure out how to do that more and be able to get teams into foul trouble early or get their certain key guys into foul trouble. This way, I mean, teams will look to do that against the Knicks, and I get there's a thing as a so-called thing as great defense, but there's also better offense against that great defense. But I just want to see the Knicks capitalize on getting Chicago in foul trouble tonight. And this way you can get guys on the bench and then capitalize while they're on the bench and take advantage while they're there. But yeah, the Knicks acquired OG Ananobi as well as Precious Achua. Your thoughts on OG's performance in the Timberwolves game?
He was fantastic. He was great. Although he fouled out, but that's par for the course. Thank God we still prevailed. Because with Julius, he came up clutch. And just his presence, he took over the game. But just overall, you could just see in that even in that one game, just how much better and just his defensive presence. That's
Right.
why I was like, I'm interested, to see the matchup with him and DeMar. Uh, that should be like a good one. But overall, like if he continues, on that path, he could, he'll be well. He's going to be a nice addition. But I'm there was nothing negative outside him fouling out. But it's a learning, too. It's a learning curve. He got a chance to definitely, see more plays and run more reps. So, that'll definitely, ease with the comfortability of just being on the floor and just what he's going to do tonight.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, so it was again a win-win for the Knicks.
Yeah, I think he's a great addition to the team. And I actually want to correct myself because on the last podcast, I said Precious Achua fouled out, and I meant to say it was OG Ananobi. I just twisted it up. I was talking about OG, but I said Precious. But honestly, that last call that they called on OG, I didn't see the foul. Like, I
Yeah.
was like, where did I don't know where the refs got that from, but to me, I thought that was a really bad call. But one thing I do like with OG is that he doesn't fall for the head fakes. And that's a big problem you and I had talked about that we really can't stand with a lot of Knicks players. They fall for the head fake
He
or
stays
any
in.
little hesitation move. Knicks players are off their feet. And OG stays on his feet very well. I was
Yeah.
watching his defense and paying attention to his defense, and he moves his feet really well. He's strong, so guys are not going to just body him out of the way. And he's ready. Like he just has this focus when he's on defense. So I really do like that about him. And his strength and just the fact that he's not like a skinny guy, but he actually, like I said, he has that strength. It almost reminds me of like how Randall is really strong.
Yeah.
You're not gonna just body Randall out of the way. He's strong like a Mitch. These guys like they hit the gym and they're lifting the weights and they're really strong. But I think that he truly is a good addition because maybe with his defense, maybe that'll become infectious to the other players on the team, and they'll see that he's not allowing his man to blow by him. And sometimes when you have teammates in the sport and you see how that person is really, it makes you want to be like, okay, let me step my game up and play to the best of my ability. And not saying players haven't done that, but I just think that seeing how he played defense, maybe it ignites something in Tibbs to get on guys and not just preach defense in the press and in the media, but actually let these guys know I need defense every night. You got to step up your defense.
Well, just to think, like what was it, like 3 seasons ago, they were ranked fourth. I mean, and now they've dropped down like significantly as far as defense. Don't quote me. They might be 20, but if someone knows, definitely put it in the chat. Um, yeah, so their defense has really taken a hit.
Yeah.
So, they have to get back to that, you know, apply that pressure. Um, and again, just don't fall for, the little things. And so, and they could get back there.
Yeah, I remember you was saying at one point because I kept harping on the Knicks having bad defense, and you were saying, but the Knicks were ranked like second or third. This was at like the very beginning of the season. And then I could have sworn you just said, not the last episode, but 3 episodes ago, the Knicks were in like 18th or 20th and defense. So just that fast, they wound up slipping because, and it shows. The Knicks are allowing teams to score 110, 120, 130, 144 points. You're not playing defense. And I don't want to hear the whole, oh, well, it's a shooting scoring league now. It's always been a scoring league. It's always been a shooting league. Yes, it's changed and the game has the type of the way guys are playing now has changed. But I think so does basketball not consist of defense anymore? We just all gonna shoot threes like with Steph Curry from the other half of the court. Where's the defense? It must still exist because if not, it wouldn't be called basketball.
Yeah, yeah,
So
true.
I just the Knicks have to get back there and also limit the turnovers. It's too many turnovers. They had one or two, maybe 3 games where they kept it to 10 or less. But to me, even at 10, that's a lot. Gotta
Yeah.
limit the turnovers.
Well,
They're turning over the ball too much.
they've been hitting their free throws,
Yeah.
which is a plus. And again, they're free, they count, So
Right.
the free throw shooting seems to have improved. And we definitely, hope Brunson, have a great game, because the last game he struggled mightily. Um, he was what, 5 for 20, 23. Yeah, he did have a career high 14 assists. And he did other things, to get the guys involved, moving the ball, things like that. But it'd be nice if he could just get, on track tonight.
Right.
Mm. And find that shooting touch.
Do the Knicks need that shooting touch from Brunson? Or if he facilitates the ball like he did against Minnesota, can that still be enough for us to get the win? Or do we need him to drop, because he had 16 points, 14 assists, but are you saying you need him to give us at least 20 to 25 plus those 14 assists? Or can his facilitation of the ball, because he was finding guys, he had good court vision. Is that not enough?
I mean, it is enough, but it just be nice if he could, facilitate. Yeah, he's a point guard, and not putting pressure on him, but yes, it's enough. I mean, prove that on Monday. But again, Chicago, we saw what they did yesterday. And just where the Knicks are at in the standings. So it'd be nice if he could, score and give us, 25, 30, or go off tonight, you
Yeah.
know. So it's just both of them really. It'd be
Yeah.
nice to be a facilitator, and if he could just score as well. So
Yeah, I think Brunson, I agree with you. It is kind of 50-50. I think yes, giving us a high 14 plus assists plus 16 to 20 is great. But I think that if he can score 20 or more, plus give you that high percentage of a high number of assists in a game, he becomes a threat that the defense have to actually play D on versus them being like, he's off tonight. I don't really got to play on him and challenge him to shoot because he's off. But if you're a threat offensively and you're scoring and you're hot like Randall, now the defense has to play not only defense on Randall, but they have to play also on Brunson. And then, I think you need the other guys to be involved also, like Josh Hart, OG, I mean, Grimes. And Grimes, I'm going to be watching out for because Grimes did this before. This is like a replay from what he did before. Remember, he came out from the random rant and complaint he had about starting. Tibbs moved him to the second unit. He came off the bench. He dropped like 17. Then the game after that, he had, I don't know, 14 points, 10 to 14 points. Then he went through a drought. Maybe his locker's next to RJ's. Maybe that's probably what it was. So
no,
the streakiness moved over to him. And then he had like a few
no.
games he scored 10, and then the Minnesota game he had 10, but he's up and down. Well, he's quiet.
Well, in all fairness, he wasn't seeing the minutes that as a player you need. It's hard for you to come in, and everybody's different as far as their minds frame, and they could come and just shoot lights out. Everybody's different. If they were all the same players, and why even have a league? And truth be told, like this trade was made, with OG. So like a Grimes and a Deuce and even Hart can get more minutes. So I'm hoping he find that shooter's touch as well. And if the more he's on the floor, defensive wise and offensive wise. So, let's hope he could just, again, that's why the trade was made. So they can give him more minutes. And same thing with Deuce, and he just signed a contract. So, you don't want to put pressure, but this is what it's all about. You have to produce. This is the season for those guys to take that leap. And let's hope that they do.
But with Quentin Grimes, is it that he needs more minutes? or does he need to produce in the minutes that he is getting? Because I don't think Quentin Grimes, like unlike Deuce McBride, who's barely getting any minutes, Quentin Grimes is getting minutes, even starting lineup or bench. He's getting minutes.
Well,
Is it is it his lack of like the play when he's on the court, the skill set that he's missing, or is it that it's the minutes?
no, I think the more minutes and the more reps he get, he has a potential to become a decent, a great player. I would like to believe that the more reps he get, more minutes, he'll definitely, become that, decent player, and lock down on defense. That's what he's there for as well, and both offensively as well. So
So if Grimes was on another team and he was getting the minutes, do you think that Grimes would be a better player if he was on another team and the coach was giving him more? Like, do you think he would take that next step in his career and flourish, or would he still be at the same baseline of where he's at on the Knicks?
You know what? That's what I was trying to and I'm glad you brought that up because players sometimes well, sometimes they're moved for various reasons. A, as I alluded to make minutes for the other guys, and B, players flourish under different systems. So unfortunately, RJ couldn't make that leap um, for whatever reason. He may do well up in Toronto.
Mhm.
Different system, different coaching style, plays are ran through him. He can be, even if he's that third option, he may get more, plays ran through him. So, it's a lot of different factors of why and a player flourish when they, go to another team. Again, it's a coaching system, the style. Perhaps he will, but he needs to make the best while he's here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that see, a part of me feels like if Quentin Grimes was on another team, he'd be better playing like I feel like he'll take that next step. I do still think that Grimes needs to work on his game in the off season. I think he needs to hire um, a shooting coach and someone to help him, not just with his shooting, but I think also with his ball handling skills and for him to develop some kind of on the court offensive moves. Because I don't really think he has any moves, but just standing in certain spots. But one thing I was saying to you was that Quentin Grimes would actually score baskets if he cuts.
Yeah,
When he's not standing waiting in that corner for that short three, Hartenstein or Hart or Brunson, they're looking for guys to cut. And that's another thing the Knicks need to focus on tonight. If guys cut to the basket, you're gonna get an easy layup or foul trying.
yeah,
And it's sad that I don't know if the Knicks are gonna make that adjustment to start doing that because they did it well against Minnesota and they've had maybe one or two games where they've done it previously. But when guys cut to the basket, first of all, you're making it easier for yourself. You're also making it easy for the team to get easy buckets instead of just settling for a mid-range shot or a three-pointer.
yeah,
But I want to see guys cut without the basket because a lot of times, as much as I like Hartenstein passes, I'm still a little frustrated with Hartenstein because I don't understand why he's a few feet from the basket and he decides to throw it out. Like he's a football player, a quarterback, and he's looking to set up his guys. And again, I love his court vision. I love his timing on his passes. He thread the needles very well. And a lot of times, I don't think a lot of guys on the Knicks are really ready, but minus, I'll say DiVincenzo. But I don't think a lot of guys are ready for that quick pass that he's ready to throw because his passes aren't sloppy. He throws nice bounce passes, nice quick chest passes, a lob. But a lot
yeah,
of times I notice he has to nudge his head. He shouldn't have to do that. That should be automatic. Guys should be cutting to the basket. Come on, we how many games in now? He has to still tell you cut. If I'm the defense, I'm reading that. But I would like to see Hartenstein take that shot by the free throw line. Take that floater shot. Go in for that monster dunk. He went away from doing that. Last season, he was doing that. And I don't know if that's him or if that's the coaching staff that told him, no, we need you to play more of be more of a presence like Mitch. I don't want to necessarily say play like Mitch, but be more of a presence like Mitch and just focus on rebounds, offensive and
Yeah,
defensive,
yeah.
and get the lob guys that feed you the ball, which to me is kind of dumb. It ain't kind of, it is dumb. Because you're limiting a player and putting him in a box when he
Yeah,
could be either shooting a three, you know, a nice off the backboard shot right there. You can make the shot. And I don't understand that. I see him do that all the time. And I'm like, but unlike Mitch, he's not afraid to put the ball on the floor. So what are we doing? What are we doing as the Knicks? I still have some questions about this. Like, what are we doing here?
and if he gets fouled, he can hit his free throws.
Right, right.
That's the beauty of it, you know?
Um, Eddie asked a good question. He said, how do we contain Drummond in the paint? That would determine the game. Hartenstein has to be aggressive. He's gonna have to put a body on him.
Yeah, yeah,
You're gonna have to truly box him out. And Hartenstein does a pretty good job boxing out guys. You ever watch the Knicks games? And if you notice Hartenstein, he's looking to see where his man is. When the
yeah,
shot goes up, he quickly looks to see where his man is, so that way he could put a body and box out that guy. He does that really well.
yeah.
But I
He
think
does.
that he's
Yeah,
gonna have to play with that same energy he did against Minnesota. He's gonna have to do that tonight. And other guys are gonna have to come in and help out and get the rebound while he's putting a body and keeping Drummond from getting the rebound. So your Randalls are gonna have to come in. DiVincenzo, Hart, OG, come in and get the rebound. You know what I mean? So I think guys are just gonna have to try to keep him out of the paint as much as possible because he's gonna be bound to get a double double. Easily, it's nothing for him to get 20
yeah,
rebounds,
yeah.
17 to
Drummond,
20
yeah,
points.
yeah. I mean, he's and he's been on a tear lately. The
Yeah,
last few games, you know. So if nothing else, you know what you're going to get from him, you
right,
know. And he's an excellent rebounder.
right.
You know, and he you know he does that lob and you know the slam, you know, he does all those little things. So
But
you
Hartenstein needs to make him work to get the ball, make it harder for Drummond. I don't want to see him
yeah,
getting an easy pass. How players will feed the post player with a little bounce pass. You should be making that bounce pass hard for him to even get. If
yeah,
they throwing it up to him and he has his hand up, make it hard for him to get that pass. Now you got to be careful when you front him because they may just throw that ball right over your head. And
mm,
now you don't have help because you got DiVincenzo who looks like a little 5'5" player. He looks so short sometimes, and then he be caught down there. What can he do at that point when if he's trying to come in and unless he's to swat the ball quickly, but otherwise than that, if it's him or Grimes down there because they're the so happen to be down there helping in the paint, they're not going to be able to stop a guy like that. But Hartenstein has to play him like overly aggressive without fouling, and he has to make Drummond work for those passes and not allow him to just get easy baskets. If they get him a lob, okay. But if he's because Drummond is not really a threat. He's not like a
no,
Cousins or Embiid where he's gonna be out the three and putting it between his legs. He's not gonna do
yeah,
that.
he's not an offensive threat at all.
But you can't allow him to get a
Yeah,
ton of easy baskets.
yeah, yeah.
So salute Coach
Bill, right?
Bill.
He said, go ahead.
Am I the only one who thinks this is the point in the schedule where the Knicks add the sofrito to their season and roll out with Rice? Oh, with nice win loss record. I thought it said Rice. Roll out with nice win loss record. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that this is the point where they turn it up, they add that seasoning, and they start salsa dancing on the floor. I'm really hoping that this is the point where the Knicks really start to kick it into gear and step it up. And if they
Yeah,
can go on a nice run like they did last season, I'll take it. You don't
and,
gotta
and,
wait after All-Star break to go on a run.
You don't, and that fourth seed is crowded. You got a lot of teams vying for that fourth seed.
Right.
And that's why the Knicks have to make that run. They're a game behind. Um, what was it? Well, they're tied with Cleveland. They both sit at 19-15. The
Hmm.
the Pacers sit at wait, hold on. Where's my stats? Hold on, hold on.
The
Um,
Pacers are six. They're 18 and
yeah,
14.
they're at 18 and 14. Miami and the Magic, they're 19 and 14. So they're like a half game and a game behind. So, and with some losses, Miami plays LA, so if they lose, that the Knicks can climb up, but they have to win this. And
Yeah.
and those games over the weekend so they can climb into that, that fourth because it's crowded. No,
It is. But if you look at fourth through eighth, fourth being the Heat, fifth Orlando, sixth Indiana, seventh is the Knicks, and Cleveland's right behind us in eighth. Fourth through eighth is anybody's game because all of these records are damn near the same: 19 and 14
exactly.
and 18 and 15. They all of those teams are pretty much sharing that same record of 19 and 14 or 18 and 15. So it's
Yep.
up to anybody, but the Knicks can't go win one, lose three, win two or
Yeah.
three, lose. You can't do that. You gotta be consistent, and that's what I think I'm looking for the Knicks to be a better a better team overall. I want the Knicks to be like a OKC where they're winning back to back. Be like a
Yeah.
Boston where you're winning back to back. Be like a Denver Nuggets, you're winning back to back. Be like a
Mhm.
Philly and you're winning back to back games and you're not allowing teams to get on your back in the standings. That's the
Yeah.
kind of team that sets the really good teams from the
Yeah.
decent okay teams apart in the league.
They gotta get some separation between them,
Right.
and make a statement. They have to, like I said, stack some wins. Instead of win one, lose one. You win one, you lose two. You never, move up, in the standings. So let's just hope tonight, Monday was a great game. Let's hope they could piggyback off of Monday's win.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for, that momentum from Monday's game and
Yeah,
that win. Not just because they beat the number one team out in the West, but like you got rid of some dead weight, and RJ was a big chunk of the dead weight. Because I'm not going to really put it on Quickly. Quickly was pretty consistent.
really.
Am I telling a lie? RJ was heavy dead weight.
Well, he didn't make that leap that they were hoping he would have made by now. Yeah, yeah, he was, but he gave us some great games and great moments. He just didn't make that leap, you know.
Dead weight.
He- for whatever reason, he just didn't make it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to really put Quickly into that because Quickly, he was a lot more consistent when RJ, plenty of games when RJ barely was scoring for us. Quickly was actually stepping up and giving us 20, damn near 20 a game. So no, but I think with OG here, we know that this is not the end for the Knicks. There is going to be a phase two of a big trade happening. And I'm hoping that they make some type of move before the deadline in February. But if not, I'm very confident that the Knicks will be able to make a move in the off season.
Hmm.
Um, but again, this isn't done because to me the Knicks still do need a center position, and we need another a solid shooter who's clutch and could get us baskets. Because right now, who they have, it's not enough.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think something's, a lot of people just speculating that something's in the works, for them to, get that, that second edition, whether it's that shooting guard that, uh,
mhm.
that can defend, score. you know, off the ball. So I truly believe that they have something cooking, you know.
Yeah,
So
sure.
um
Um, Go ahead.
no, no, I want to ask you, I know in the beginning, we had our predictions for the Knicks.
Hmm.
What we did
50,
50, but then we lowered it.
and 32. No, you
Yeah,
lowered yours.
yeah, I
I
lowered
did mine
mine.
to 50. Yeah.
Okay. Now do you still stand by that prediction, or has it moved?
I don't know. I want to continue buying on that, but I'm at a hold right now. Only because we got OG and I feel like they may make some other moves. So I just want to see how this group gels with OG and Precious
Yeah,
in the mix. I want to see if there's some changes that happens, with him being on the floor. So I want to see how these guys gel together. And with Randall and Brunson for the most part being hot, I want to see if this continues on. And my thing is, even if the Knicks don't hit the 50 game mark, win mark at the end of the season, that's fine. My biggest thing is, well, you got to make the playoffs, but you can't be a first round knockout.
yeah, yeah,
Honestly, you really can't even afford to be a second round knockout. You really need to try to get to that next round because you prove that you can get to the second round. But
yeah,
my thing is that I'm really looking for the Knicks to continue this season, proving that they can beat the better teams with the winning records in the league and the better matchups in the league. And then I want to see in the playoffs, can they take it to the next level? The playoffs is not the regular season. Teams turn it up to a different level. So I felt like last season the Knicks were playing too safe, and I felt like other teams were just like lions. They were scrappy, they were quicker, they were more aggressive, and the Knicks just weren't there. Like, yeah, they played like that against Cleveland, but that's because Cleveland was playing safe, like the Knicks. So it was a good matchup for them. But then Miami came, and Miami was like,
from out of nowhere.
yeah. And the Knicks just weren't ready. It wasn't even just that the Knicks weren't making their shots. They just weren't ready, and I still, and that's another thing too. Like, I'm looking at, well, Randall, because he was exposed in the playoffs last year.
Oh
Remember,
yeah,
Randall couldn't get past anyone one on one. He struggled.
yeah,
He had no one on one moves to get to the basket. So I want to see, can he do, because we know Brunson can do that, but can Randall
yeah.
do that and
Take it
be
to the
able to
next
be
level.
right? Can he contribute scoring wise in the playoffs? So I
Hmm.
do hope that they do get that 50-point win, but I think that, like you were saying earlier, they have to be able to go on a run now to give themselves some breathing room in the Eastern Conference standings. And then they need to be ready for the playoffs when that comes. You can't go to the first round and get knocked out in the first round. You can't.
Yeah, yeah.
It's unacceptable.
And another question. So with this trade, what do you expect or hope to see from the Knicks going forward? And you pretty much like just answered it somewhat in your last response. Um, but
Well,
what do you expect?
I think whoever they bring in, the Knicks are gonna need backups because right now, like Randall's position at the four, there's no solid backup four. Brunson's position
Yeah,
at the point, there's no solid backup point guard.
yeah,
Isaiah Hartenstein has Precious, but I think I would like to see a more, not just like a 3 and D, like a OG, but I would like to see somebody, even though I know that his position is not the five, but I would like to see a five player who can give you that double double a night, who can make free throws, who could stretch the floor and shoot a mid range, who could hit a 3 point shot if you need it. That's the kind of center I truly believe the Knicks need. And right now, we don't have that. And Isaiah Hartenstein can be that guy, but somehow they're limiting him to this like box, which again, I don't understand why we're doing that.
yeah.
And then as far as OG, I think OG will be. I mean, I guess you could say he's another option to like Randall's position, But then also I look at the bench and I'm like, but who do they really have? Okay, you got Dante DiVincenzo, you have Josh Hart, and I think Josh Hart has to be consistent too. I mean, he's been doing a pretty good jobs on the boards, and helping out with the rebounds, but he's capable of scoring, you know, 12 plus points a game. But I think he needs to learn how to do that on a consistent basis. And I think
Basis.
him and Grimes can get those points, even if it's 7 points. You can get 7 quick baskets if you cut to the basket.
Yeah, our bench is getting outscored,
Yeah, because and I've been saying this since before this trade happened. The Knicks don't have a bench. The Knicks do not have a bench. The only
I
person they had was
so in
Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah, well, I felt so in the beginning, but my mindset has changed, somewhat. Because of the simple fact that they are getting, outscored. So again, that comes from there's that one more piece that they could bring in. But then how does Dante go to the bench if they bring in, that shooting guard, that help, with Brunson, because he was a nice spark off the bench. I mean,
I think it depends who they bring in
well, yeah, that's
to
true.
determine if DiVincenzo should go on the bench or if he should stay in the starting lineup. But DiVincenzo's another one. He'll have a game where he gives us 20 to 30, and then the next two games he's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
So he don't even give you 14. He may only give you 7 points. And then I'll look, I'm like, third quarter he didn't score a basket. Fourth quarter he didn't score a basket. So I mean, if you're not shooting the three, you gotta learn how to drive to the basket,
Yeah,
draw
yeah,
some contact, and get to the free throw line.
exactly.
You can't keep relying on the 3 point shot. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
like a few years ago, the Knicks was so reliant upon a three. They had no other option but a three. It was so frustrating to watch. They're like just getting out of doing that. The way the Knicks offense and defense is, and especially the offense, because the offense has come somewhat of a ways. They're like a public school system that's taken a long time to implement some kind of system into the schools. And it's like, oh gosh, they finally signed off on that bill. And look, now they have that program they've been trying to bring. That's the Knicks offense. It's like, why? I don't know why, for some reason, the Knicks can't get with the program. You
Well,
look at,
Randall is taking less threes.
he is, I'm saying as a team,
As a team, yeah, I know.
as a team, like the Knicks used to just rely upon the three. And now I don't notice them doing that as much, which was very frustrating. The Knicks would just shoot three, and you would hear the games. You would hear Clyde go, "Why the Knicks are not taking the ball inside?" It was like they were
Yeah.
afraid to drive in the lane and go for the easy basket.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand that for the life of me with the Knicks. But Randall, I like the way he's playing. I want to see Randall take over like he did in Minnesota
Oh, for
in the fourth
sure.
quarter. I want to see the ball in his hands, especially if the game is close. And I want to see the Randall go to work and get the team that W.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if, if Brunson can, get out that slump, you know. I would definitely love to see him have a great shooting night because he's been off.
Yeah. Randall has been scoring 20 or more points per game since November 24. So he has been dropping at least 20 points a game
Hmm.
since November 24th. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, he's been consistent.
Coach Bill said, "Do either of you have any thoughts on Bill Simmons floating the pursuit of Jordan Clarkson?" I haven't heard about that. Have you?
No, thoughts on Bill Simmons? No, wow, I'm gonna definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, same. What
Yeah,
else info you have, Coach?
what was
Let
that?
us
What
know.
you
No,
say?
I was saying, Coach Bill, let us know what other info you have. Put it in the chat. Eddie said, if Brunson continues with this slump, Randall will be the only Knicks all-star pick. You think so?
I mean, it's possible. Well, he definitely won't be a starter. I think he has a good possibility of making because he was snubbed like last year.
Hmm.
That I think that he will make it. Because it's a shame he didn't make it last year. So I think for some reason that he will make it and get in. I mean, there's still time for him to pick it up. I think it's just a little mini slump. He has to get out of it and shoot his way out of it, as far as I'm concerned. But I think he'll find that rhythm.
Yeah, same. And I also feel like we voted Randall in, and he was throwing the ball and turning over in the middle of the air. We voted that man in, and he was turning the ball, throwing sloppy passes.
Yeah,
I mean, Randall had moments where, yeah, he was scoring the points we needed, but that's another thing Randall hasn't been doing as much. Remember, he would take a dribble, he would be like on a post up and dribble it off his foot, and
yeah,
then he
yeah,
would look at the ref like, "Yo,
yeah.
Randall,
He's worked on his
no one
yeah.
fouled you. I'm on your team. Yeah, no one fouled you, my guy. No one pushed you. You're not close to the out of bounds. It's you. You know what side your feet are big." And he would or dribble it off his ankle, and then he would look at the ref, and I'm like, no one did it. You did it. So as fans, if we can vote in Randall when he was making all those little other mistakes, um, the previous seasons on the court offensively, then we could vote Brunson in.
Yeah, well,
Like, there's plenty of games where Brunson held the team down.
oh yeah, for sure. Well, he gets my vote every day. I do vote, and I'm not just BSing. You
And not
know.
only that, Brunson carried the team in the playoffs when Randall was hurt.
Yeah, yeah,
He was doing everything in his power to keep us alive in the playoffs without us getting blown out. So Brunson is more than worthy of getting those votes, and I don't see fans stopping voting for him um, over Randall. I just think that this is like a minor, and this happens with players. They go through these little mini slumps, or sometimes they may have a few games where he's off. But I truly believe Brunson's gonna bounce back. And like I always say, Brunson plays his heart out and balls out for really when for the games that really matter.
yeah, for
A
sure.
lot of times when we play the harder teams in the league, Brunson comes through. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it used to be Randall and Quickly having a bad game, but Brunson was the one, coming through with the points, whatever, whatever. But again, I think part of that too is that Brunson doesn't have any help. He has to be the one to continue to bring the ball down the court. He don't have no help. So sometimes I'm sure for him it would be nice if someone else could bring up the ball sometimes and facilitate and give him the ball so he could shoot or go to work on and do his moves that he do. But he can't do that.
yeah, that's true. Well,
So
I have one more question. Um, you know, we talked about this podcast ago, so long ago, about the Knicks identity. Do you think with the acquisition and the trade of OG, the Knicks, do you feel they have an identity, or they just need to still work on building that continuity?
not yet.
Yeah, I said,
They have to build the continuity within the team. I think they
mhm,
have to figure out how to work together as a team.
yeah, for
I
sure.
think guys need to know their role on the team, and the Knicks have to figure out how to win together. Not Randall and Brunson giving you 30, 40, 50, 60. Great. Applauds to you guys, but win together as a team. And they have to figure out how to gel together. I brought up earlier how if Hartenstein gets the ball in the middle of the paint and he's nudging his head to tell guys to go, that's not, you guys are not gelling. That should be automatic. Like putting on a seatbelt when you get in the car, that should be automatic. You know what I mean? So I think they have to work on how to be a team and work out. Like I said, even when they're in practices, they if sometimes develop that two-man game with certain guys in practices so you could implement that in the games.
Yeah.
That's why it's called practice. So if Hartenstein has something running with Hart or Hart and Grimes or Hartenstein and Grimes or Jalen Brunson and Randall, like work on those two-man games so y'all could implement that in games. It's still within the team, but I think those are things that they have to work on together. And I just think that defensively, the Knicks have to talk to each other on the court. There's no communication. And I think the
Mhm.
leadership on the team, Brunson and Randall, they need to start calling guys out. The defense has to step up because it's not there yet. And if you're allowing teams to score 120, 130, 144, you're not playing defense.
Yeah, I
Not that
agree.
well
Yeah.
if you're allowing teams to score that much against you. So I think that the Knicks have to figure out their identity. They have to know, like, okay, this is where we're trying to go as a team. We're not just trying to be we make the playoffs. We've done that already. Let's try something new. Where I think they're still in this realm of change, and change is good. They're in this realm of change, and the change is gonna it's gonna keep continuing to happen. And I think as they bring in the right pieces in place, it's gonna be for the betterment of the team. So
Yeah.
I think that giving guys like McBride more playing time, um, Grimes more playing time, but I think at the same time when they get in there, they have to be ready to go to work. I don't want to see guys standing around waiting for the ball to come down. And that's part of the reason why Fournier also doesn't get time. Because Fournier likes to stand there and wait for the ball to come to him.
Yeah.
The better teams in the league, they're not doing that. Guys are not standing waiting for a ball to come to them. They know how to create their own and get to the basket and
Yeah.
score on their own.
Yeah.
And the Knicks have to become that team. You can't have an offense that's stagnant where you only have one or two guys going to work, whether that's Brunson or Randall, and the other guys are standing around waiting around. Got to move without the ball. Everybody has to be willing to crash the boards. Guys got to be willing to have active hands. I thought Mitchell Robinson did a great job this season with his hands up being active.
Oh
I want
yeah,
every
for
guy
sure.
doing, not just moving your feet, put your hands up and be ready to steal a ball or a cross court pass. And I think it's just making smarter decisions on the court. Your passes, having good court vision. Don't just rely on Jalen Brunson to make a good pass and find you. You could pass it to other guys too if you're Josh Hart, if you're Grimes, if you're DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
And I think guys just have to be ready. They got to stay ready.
Be
So
involved in the
still,
offense.
yeah, they're still finding their way. And I think once they do that, the offense and the defense will evolve, and the Knicks will truly be a threat team, and people will take them outside of the Knicks community. People will take them a lot more seriously. But right now, they're getting there, and they're not far away. But they have a couple of steps left to take to get them to be a true contending team.
Yeah. Be able to compete. Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. What are your predictions for tonight's game?
Well, I'm predicting that they'll win. Um, no, I always say no game is easy.
Right.
As I said, game whoever executes their offense and defends, is and the playing basketball it comes with runs, and you
Mhm.
you got to sustain that, dictate, the tempo, control the tempo, again, defend, um, watch your turnovers, um, and like you always say, guard the perimeter. But I'm definitely predicting that the Knicks walk away with a win.
Yeah, I would like to see the Knicks get a win. This is actually going to be broadcast on ABC tonight. This
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, so I
Nice.
mean it's not the '90s when we had the excitement of Jordan and playing against Ewan in the Knicks, but I think this is a good way for the Knicks to make another statement win. Even though it's against Chicago, but it doesn't matter. You should put the business on anybody in the league,
Yeah.
no matter who it is. And I think moving forward, the Knicks have to be a lot more aggressive. They got to get locked in offensively and defensively, and look to get revenge on teams who you lost to already, like OKC. Who's been on the tear, beating damn near everybody in the league so far. So
Yeah.
I have the Knicks winning tonight. I want to see the Knicks actually have me back up what I'm saying. So I would like to see them get the W. And we'll see. We'll see with them. I was trying to see if they put.
What the
Oh yeah, Williams. I think he's playing.
they yeah, well
Yeah,
they had him I think listed day to day, so well they're gonna need him. Their lineup is real thin, you know.
right. Yeah, and I want to see the ball movement too, because when the Knicks move the ball, they're a lot more successful, as well as when they move without the ball. So if they can get those passes in like they were doing, I mean, make it contagious, whether it's to OG, whether it's to Josh Hart, Hartenstein. I just want to see the Knicks take advantage of getting the easy baskets throughout the game. And yeah, I know they're going to be relying upon Randall, Brunson, and OG, but the other guys, the supporting cast, is going to have to come through and
Yeah.
step up.
The role players as they're called.
Salute, big task at hand. He said DeJounte Murray is next. Yeah. I mean, I think even for tonight, I think a lot of Knicks front office is going to be looking at DeRozan, even though they already know what he can do. But I think, just in general, they're going to be looking at DeRozan because Levine, uh, he's out of the question. But DeRozan was still on the table. And I know Miami's still interested in getting him, but I think that teams, front office staff is going to be looking at him. DeJounte Murray, I mean, I don't know. Who would you rather get, Murray or DeRozan?
I'd rather get Murray, just just overall like his size. Um He's like, no, please, no. I said the same thing. I'm not too crazy about DeRozan. I would take, DeJounte, over DeMar any day. I mean, for me, Murray, just like his playmaking, DeRozan, yeah, he does all that too. And what he does, he's sort of like OG, just the floor spacing, and I think that would be a nice compliment for Jalen. Me personally, I mean, I would definitely prefer a Murray, and it would create more open shots for Brunson, perhaps. So that's like again, I'm definitely high on Murray over DeRozan, and
Is
and
also
what
the age.
that too, and just what he can bring to the Knicks, and just a added addition, and make that run, for the standings and just being competitive. Um, I would definitely prefer him, over DeRozan, me
Yeah.
personally. He
A lot.
he he defends. So
Yeah, I agree. I think the way his style of play, he can draw the defense, and then that leaves Randall and Brunson as other options that he can pass the ball to in that regard. Um, and then Murray, he does play pretty good defense. I've watched plenty of Atlanta Hawks games, and I
yeah,
do like his defense. And again, that him on the team with OG, who are both great defensive players, I think that could be infectious on the other guys on the team to want to step up defensively and get locked in. That'll motivate guys to step
yeah,
up more and play harder defensively. But I also do agree, like as far as the age wise, just because originally I was on saying like, oh, the Knicks should go after DeRozan, but then when Murray came into the picture afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I do think that originally I was like no to Murray because I was like we have DiVincenzo, but the problem I was saying earlier with the Knicks is that a lot of our um players on the team, there's no backup for their position. And this is why we don't have a bench because it's like, who do you
Yeah.
really have? You know what I mean? Like, you really only have Brunson, Randall, OG, Hartenstein, and DiVincenzo. But who's replacing those positions solidly? Who's replacing those positions?
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is why me personally, this is why I'm high on, Murray coming in over DeRozan, you know.
Yeah.
What's that,
I hope
Shannon?
I hope that the Knicks can make that happen. You know, I'm sure they're still working out the whole CAA and Leon with Clutch Sports Media and the behind the scenes. But if they was able to get OG with all them Toronto, New York Knicks legal woes and put that to the side, make it happen and get Murray.
Exactly.
So I mean, we'll see. But yeah, anything else for you before we get out of here?
Now, what did he say in his defense? Murray averages 1.5 steals a game. Yeah, yep, that's why I'm high, praise for Murray over DeRozan. Nah, nah, nothing. I'm just, the comes over at 8:30. It's the countdown right now. Stephen A's on there, which he's a Knicks hater, but hey, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. Let me let me watch this crap. No, but my prediction is let's go Knicks.
Yeah, for sure. It's always let's go Knicks. We're both hoping that the Knicks get um, the W tonight. When the Knicks acquire Murray, it's curtains for the league. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm being optimistic about the Knicks getting Murray. I would like to see it happen, for sure. I still think that we need a backup, a true backup center position. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna give Precious some time to show what he could do. But we'll see. We'll see.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, tip off should probably happen like 8:40. It's usually 10 minutes after the starting time. Um, and then yeah, the Knicks play their next game. They play a back to back, so they're playing Friday against Philly. So Friday night Knicks. That game is at 7:30, and then their next game is against Washington on Saturday at 7. Um, Definitely have them beating Washington. It would be very nice if we could beat Philly, but we will get into that game. We're just going into this Chicago game for now. But yeah, the Knicks
Exactly.
got to lock in on defense. I don't want to see Caruso having a career high tonight. I want to see
Yeah,
them guard him because I hate when the Knicks allow players to do that. I don't want to see him dropping 38, 40 points tonight.
yeah,
And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's go Knicks, as Diva Locks always says. I want to shout out the chat before we get out of here. Salute to Eddie. Salute to Ajay. Salute Wonder Woman. Salute Coach Beal. And salute Big Task at Hand for joining us in the chat. We appreciate you guys joining us. Shout out to the replay gang for watching us and watching the videos. And shout out to a lot of the new subscribers. We appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button to the replay gang. And to those of you who are watching us live, hit the like button. And tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your cousins, and let them know about our channel. And, we're here to do cover all New York Knicks pregame and postgame or any Knicks news. And as well as throughout the summer, we do WNBA coverage on the New York Liberty. So, yeah, stay tuned. And we'll see what happens with tonight's win against the Knicks. And yeah, thanks for joining us today. And until next time, as we always say, peace.
peace.